Hello, my name is David Lindo, also known as the Urban Birder, and why don't you come along to one of my Urban Birder Day courses run at the wonderful London Wetland Centre and sponsored by the even more beautiful COA. It's very easy to get involved. Just go on the website and book, and you can learn all about finding birds in urban areas, all about feeling habitats in terms of understanding how they work, all about a little bit about, should I say, bird ID, but most of all, have fun and to have a great day out. And welcome along to the Urban Birder Day course, a course that's been running now for 6 years. There's lots to do in the world, to talk to people. So I used the Urban Birder as a Trojan horse, which I drove into town. I said, guys, get on board. You can watch birds, it's amazing. It's like meditation, it's like yoga, it's like Pilates. So we will talk more, but I want to bring on young Emily now, who's going to tell us all about this wonderful place.
WWT has 10 sites now across the UK. We are definitely one of the newer ones. There is one that's slightly younger than us, but they were all founded by Sir Peter Scott. So we got this site in 1997. And this was opened in 2000. So as David was saying, before that, it was actually the 4 big reservoirs that fed the water into London. London then obviously grew exponentially, and that was not going to do its job anymore. But by the time they went to knock it down, we had so many migratory birds coming in that we were a SSSI, so couldn't. So we are still actually owned by Thames Water. We pay the grand rent of £1 a year for the site. And in return, we do all of their conservation work, so Thames Water get let off the hook on that side, and we get a lovely site to kind of do all of our work.
I need to ask you about binoculars. Who needs binoculars? Because we have some brand new binoculars that you can borrow, and you can even have a box fresh experience because they're still wrapped up in their boxes. So it's really great when you open the box up, isn't it? And these are all sponsored. Should I say, provided by the sponsors of this particular, that's you, isn't it? Particular course, COA. You on as well? I will be having a look at some of your bins, because often people come with really tiny, like almost toys, and other people come with really old binoculars, and sometimes you look through them, and I know you're used to them, but you know, looking through yellow stained glass is not great. And the thing about binoculars also is that you don't ever buy binoculars off the internet or from a Sunday sup without looking through, testing them out. It's like buying a car. You would never buy a car just on the strength of seeing it online or on the back of a newspaper. So it's always good to, but we'll talk about that more. The moorhen is a British, well actually it's a European bird. The robin in Britain, very confident, in your face, but you go onto the continent and they are really shy woodland birds. You won't see one hopping around in the garden in Paris, for example. The behaviour is very different. And in 2015, I did a Vote for Britain's National Bird campaign, which I hope you got involved with. And unfortunately, the robin won, so I wanted the blackbird to win. But even though I was pretty disappointed, I realised that robin is a perfect bird for Britain because it's feisty. Good morning. It's feisty, it pick fights, it's territorial. That's Britain, so it actually works well. You could be standing on the first floor of a building, no one ever looks up. You could be naked, just standing there, no one ever see you. But I looked up and I saw a buzzard. And I thought, wow, and then all of a sudden there was this dog fight. The buzzard being, fighting the crow. This primeval battle going on above our heads, and no one looked up. So a lot of birding is looking up and just seeing, because obviously birds have wings, they'll fly across, you know. I remember hearing about some research done with golden eagles in Scotland, and again they were satellite tagged, and it was found looking at the records that they habitually flew over Edinburgh, but no one ever saw them because no one ever looked up. So when you're birding, keep looking up. The difference between a rook and a crow, a rook has a sort of a very bald patch of skin around its beak, so it looks kind of white, and its beak is slightly more tapered, and when it flies it has more of a diamond-shaped tail. There is a thing about rooks that they hang out in colonies, but more and more crows also hang out in big groups, but crows do not nest in colonies, only rooks do. Rooks in this country tend to be more rural. In Britain, the average wood pigeon, they say, weighs as much as a bag of sugar. They're quite fat and lazy. They don't tend to travel more than 2 miles from where they were born. They've done very well, they're very successful. They were originally country birds, but they moved into the city area. So on the wall over there, we have a wonderful bird called a grey heron. Herons actually do change slightly during their breeding season, and you can tell because the bill at the moment it's quite yellowish, but it becomes even richer during the breeding season. And juvenile birds are grey, they haven't got the white heads. So yeah, you'll see that if you watch them a lot. And they're beautiful birds. They eat all sorts of things, as we all know, from frogs to other birds. They're omnivores, but they're very successful. Chiff-chaff is a small warbler, sort of browny green colour, and they are fairly common during the summer, especially in southern England, and their call is chiff-chaff, chiff-chaff, even though I think the Germans have a better name for it. They call it zilp-zap, and it sounds more like that, to be honest. The Chetty's warbler is very boring to look at in many ways. It's very small, about 5 or 6 inches long, sort of a ruddy brown colour, and it has a very loud explosive song. And they were initially a Mediterranean bird, but they've moved north over the last 60 years or so, and now they're quite a regular sort of bird that you find in southern England especially. The Dutch have an interesting way of describing their song in English. The song's very explosive, and they write it down as saying, "Hey you, get out the car, you bastard." I've yet to hear that, but yeah, it does have that tone about that. So yeah, Chetty's warbler, interesting bird. That was a wren, one of Britain's smallest birds. It's got this really loud explosive song. Apparently, if you scaled it up to the size of a cockerel, it will sound like 10 cockerels. Apparently it's this really loud explosive song. The wren belongs to a family of birds, believe it or not, called wrens. There's 80 species, 79 of them live in North, South and Central America. Only one is found in the rest of the world, and that's this one. So this is essentially an American bird. So basically the male bird sings to proclaim its territory and say, listen, this is my territory, but also to attract females as well. Just behind the reed bed was 3 swans. I wanted to point them out to you because there's 2 mute swans, which is a classic swan, but then there was also a black swan with them. And the black swan is an introduced species which originates from Australia. And naturally in the UK we have 3 species of swans you can possibly see. The mute swan's the most common, and even that bird could have been introduced, but there's 3 of them flying now, 4. But then there's the black swan with the white wings. the mute swan, and then you've got the hooper swan, and you've got the Buick swan. And the hooper swan and the Buick swan turn up in the winter. But apparently the mute swan is much more closely related to the Australian black swan than it is to the hooper swan and the Buick swan. Yeah, grey lag geese. They are essentially like Canada geese in as much as most of them were introduced down this part of the world. But they do genuinely occur wild, especially further north and up in Scotland. There's a pair in my scope now. Shoveler, it's a type of duck. It's got a very broadened bill that's used to sieve its food through. It's got sort of a beige, not beige, reddish side. There's two of them. Female's brown. And oyster catchers used to be such an unusual species to be seen in the UK. Oh, not in the UK, in London, should I say. It's in the scope now, oyster catcher. There's a Chetty's warbler in the background, named after an Italian ornithologist whose name, believe it or not, was Mr. Chetty. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite surprising, isn't it? I hope you've all had a good time. We saw one or two bits and pieces, and I hope that, anyway, I hope that you can take this away with you. And as I said, stuff there, and there's going to be the version of the binocular you have, there's going to be an Urban Birder limited edition coming out in May, I think, for a very, very short period of time. So just to let you know that as well. But if you want to keep up with my activities, then follow me or sign up for my newsletter, which is on my website, The Urban Birder World. So thank you very much.